Hello, everybody. This is David Vet82, and I've started this for a reason. I'm these letters on here and from my podcast. They are getting out, and people do see them and hear what they're saying. So that it is actually kind of getting on the official record because I don't feel as though Congress is putting them on the official record like it should be. Like they don't have to, but it's one of their duties if we ask, but of course they're not required. I wish Congress, the federal government would do like some of the other state governments. Texas actually has where you input it onto their system and it automatically puts it in the log for them to see, which is what I think we should all go to. We're far enough ahead in advancements that we should be able to do that now because I am tired of I won't answer your questions because you're not my constituent, but yet you sit on the judiciary board, you sit on this board, you sit on oversight, you sit on financial board, you sit on the different committees. Sorry, that means you are my representative in that committee because you're on that committee. Now you are representing me in that committee. Just because you are Virginia or you're Louisiana or you're California doesn't make a difference. You're in that committee representing me to get to the bottom of investigations and oversight and all that. That's why I'm doing this, is because I think more people need to do it and get them known. I do have two lists that I believe are the correct email addresses to the judiciary and oversight. They were a attempt trying to figure it out, and the first one that I sent only got one return, and that was by mistake. So they look valid, but I don't know if they're looking at them. So let's get started on this letter. This is demanding oversight in Qatar-Venezuela Fund, the Board of Peace, and executive financial conflicts. I am writing a formally expressing my grave concerns regarding the lack of congressional oversight concerning the executive branch's handling of foreign funds and the unprecedented wealth and accumulated of the President Trump and his family since January 2025. I need to rewrite that somewhere. Well, while the White House Judiciary and Oversight Committees remain preoccupied with the theatrics of the past administration investigating and hearings involving Jack Smith, multi-billion-dollar operations are currently being conducted without legal transparency or public accountability. One, the Qatar account for Venezuela and potential misconduct. On January 9, 2026, President Trump issued an executive order 14373 titled Safeguarding Venezuela's Oil Revenue for the Good of the American and Venezuelan People. This order effectively centralizes control over Venezuela's oil revenue, shielding them from judicial proceedings and private creditors. In other words, paying back their debt. Reportedly, at least $500 million from the proceeds is being stashed in an offshore account in Qatar. This arrangement creates an offshore slush fund, bypasses standard Treasury oversight and congressional appropriation protocols. Furthermore, the first sale of this seized oil, valued at approximately $250 million, was awarded to Vital, a company whose senior trader is a major donor to the president's campaign. This presents a textbook conflict of interest and a potential violation of federal procurement standards, suggesting that the national security policy is being used to reward political benefactors. Two, the Board of Peace, and ethics violation on that. On January 22nd, 2026, the president ratified the Board of Peace in Davos, Switzerland, naming himself chairman, which is an indefinite position without any way to remove him, without a vote by the board, the immediate board, but yet he oversees removal of people from the board, so will he be removed? While presented as a humanitarian effort for Gaza and global rebuilding, the BOP is now Board of Peace, operates as transactional international body. Jared Kushner has already unveiled a $30 billion development plan for New Gaza under the BOP supervision, raising immediate concerns about ethics violations and the use of public office for private real estate ventures. The lack of Palestinian consultations, and the Trump gold branding of the official body further highlights role as a mechanism for personal influence rather than traditional diplomacy. Three, presidential wealth increase and constitutional violation. Since taking office in January 2025, the president and his family have reportedly realized $2.2 billion in profits, with a total gains estimated as high as $9.72 billion when the digital assets are included. Of this, at least $436 million is traced to foreign interests. These figures suggest a continuous violation of foreign emolument clause. God, I hate that. Article 1, Section 9, Clause B, or Clause 8, and the Domestic Emolument Clause, Article 2, Section 1, Clause 7 of the U.S. Constitution, which prohibits the president from receiving gifts or profits from foreign or domestic governments. And the $433 million one is the Qatar plane, by the way. And I think by him labeling it as his, it's a violation. It was not supposed to be done that. Specific attention must be paid to Senate Resolution 244, which identifies the recipient of a private plane from the government of Qatar by Trump-controlled entity as an illegal emolument. To date, no meaningful action has been taken to transfer these assets to the permanent control of the U.S. government or to halt the digital grift that allows foreign oligarchies to pay for executive access. 4, formal demand or for action. The citizens of the United States demand that the House Oversight and Judiciary Committee stop this circus and do their real job. Investigate the Qatar-Venezuela fund, require a full audit of all foreign government deposits, funds held in Qatar and the U.S. Treasury. Review the Board of Peace, investigate the BOP charter for violations of the emoluments clause and Kushner's role in its financial planning. 3, enforce ethics in government laws, hold the executive branch and the cabinet accountable for the failure to render aid in Minneapolis and the lack of transparency regarding foreign businesses deals. I demand that this letter be read on the floor and entered into the official congressional record. We are watching to see if you will hold the law or continue to allow hidden operations to represent our nation. And there are sources at the end, so you can reference those if you want to check them out. The thing is, it's like the Qatar plane was supposed to be transferred over to U.S. government, but that's not being done. If you don't transfer it, he has to pay the U.S. government for it, so it's not a gift. Well, it'll bypass the emoluments clause and allow them to be ethical in that regard. But he has used his position as a private windfall, gaining financials that surpassed anything he'd done before. The digital assets need to be looked into because I foresee that this is a insolvent investment, and if you use that at a regular basis, what can happen is you can make some money, you can make some decent money, but if people pull their money out, the market will crash for that Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency that's being used, which now means you have squat, which has happened a couple times. And I think I need to go look at what Barron was supposedly got in trouble for, look at what some of the previous scams that were done before. I think we're that. I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to this. Hopefully you like, share, follow. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I need at least 2 more on Substack, and I need a lot more on YouTube, but I would like some more followers on each so I can actually go live on them. Because after reading the statements from TikTok and their policies and procedures, it's kind of a gray area, and it's in their benefits. Thank you again, and remember, you are loved no matter what you do. Goodbye.